Alright, I'm working on the glass head here, and the crankshaft is out. Mike has that over at his house, and he's working on that. He's clad welding it and fixing it up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the starter cup, and I'll show you my dilemma. But let me see if I can find a crankshaft laying around that I could put in there, and because without that in there, you're not really going to understand what I'm trying to do. So let me see if I can find a crankshaft. Alright, found a crankshaft here. It's actually the one we're using in the radial engine over there, but it's the same crank. So let me stick this in here. I'm going to try and stay out of your way, but at the same time try and keep you in view here. Okay. Got a new seal on the other side here. Oh, there we go. Right in. Alright, let me put this side on here. Okay. Let me put a couple of bolts in there, and then reposition you so you see what's going on. Alright, I got you set up over here now so you can see the shaft. It's actually a tapered shaft. And here's my dilemma. Here's the pull cord cup, and that goes on, and that, if I bolted that on right now, that would stay there, and you got a good inch and a quarter away from the engine, and to me that looks a little awkward. So what I'd like to do is try and get it so it's just about touching there, and bring that in there so it looks a little better. I'm trying to explain this so you understand. It's a little tough. But like I say, that's a tapered shaft, and the only thing I can think of to make that work is I found an old flywheel here. I mean, it's still a decent flywheel and probably still could be used. All it has is like one broken fin. But what I want to do is cut the hub out of the center here and affix it to this somehow. So this is steel and this is some kind of pot metal or pewter or aluminum, I don't know, but can't weld it in there. So I'm going to have to affix it in there with maybe some kind of spikes or epoxy or something, but whatever I do, it'll hold. I'm not worried about that. And this will probably be the easiest way. Just cut that out and try to fabricate it in here instead of trying to make a tapered hub to go on here and put a keyway in it. And you know, I'm just not interested in doing all that. So this here inside looks thick and everything, but I think that's probably less than 1/4 of an inch. So I don't know if I'm going to cut this out with a hacksaw and then put it on a milling machine, or not the milling machine, but the lathe. I think it'll fit on my lathe. My lathe is good for 6 inches, and I think it's just under it. And then I got a piece of an old crankshaft that I could actually use as a stub and stick that in there, and that'll actually hold it in the lathe. I could cut it on the lathe, but I'm not crazy about cutting that loose and having that big ass piece flying around. So let me decide what I'm going to do with this, and then we'll get back to you. Alright, here was the original plan. I got a piece of old crankshaft in here, and I was going to put this on here, and it just barely fits. There we go. Even with a little keyway on there we go. And it's a reverse thread here. Okay. Not much clearance, but it is clear. It's got over the back here, it's got about maybe 1/8 of an inch. Tighten that up. There we go. Alright, so here's the original plan. I was going to run a cut and just cut it in there and get the magnet and everything off, and then work on it from there. But I'm not too crazy about that big heavy magnet flying around like that, so I think what I'm going to do is cut this off with a hacksaw and then put it back in here and see what we can do. Let me try that. Even though this would work, but I'm alone here and everything. If that decide to cut loose and hit me in the head, then we'd be in trouble. So let's try something else. Alright, this is real time. There's a sweet spot there. It must be real thin right there. So I'm going to try to keep my saw in there. Yeah, I think it's a much better idea than trying to cut that on a lathe. Alright, I just ran out of sweet spot, so let's try and get back in there. There. Yeah, I got it. See, it wasn't thick at all. So I thought it was a 1/4 inch. It's just a little over an eighth. Alright, let's clean this up and put it in the lathe. I don't know what I do without this little saw. Okay, I got it cut almost down to pretty close where I want it. I want this to be able to slip inside of there, so let's cut it down a little more. I'm not miking this, I'm just playing it by ear here. not going to take much. Okay. Let me play around with this, and I'll turn these back on when we're there. Alright, looks like we're almost there. A couple more passes maybe. Pretty close. Watch them sleeves. Look at them sleeves caught in there. Getting better. I don't know how much of a taper this has. I think we're there. Okay. Let me take it off and we'll play with it. Alright, here's where we're at. It came out nice. It's a perfect fit. It's just what I wanted. This actually goes on there. But what I was going to do was put this in here. Like I said, that's a perfect fit there. And then just bore out the back here so it would be the same size as the flange. And then I was going to drill 4 screw holes here and actually tap it in place, grind off the heads, and then weld the studs in place there and grind it flush, and then epoxy everything inside there. So you'd have a mechanical plus the epoxy, and it would probably never spin, but I run into a problem here. There we go. Let me put this on here for you. Okay. I'm going to try and stay out of the way. Reverse threads here, don't forget. Okay. Alright, that's tight there. Alright, let me zoom you in here. Okay. I don't know if you can see the right here. Right here. There you go. That's the space. That's the clearance you have there. See, now you have a little shaft movement, but then there's also a gasket that goes on this piece here, which brings it out. Not enough to worry about. But anyway, with the connecting rod on there, you're not going to have that much play. But even with the maximum play out where it's at, it's not even 1/8 of an inch. And the thickness of this was 1/8 of an inch. So that's that ruins my plan there. So now I think what I'm going to have to do, I keep forgetting this, reverse thread's a pain in the ass. Let me hold the shaft here. Now, what I'm going to have to do is, with this shoulder here, I think I'm going to have to bore this end out here. I'm going to have to give it to Mike, take it to his lathe, and bore that out so we can put this on the inside. And I think I'm just going to have to rely on an epoxy fit, you know, to hold everything in place. And I think it'll be okay. But that's where we're at now. Imagine that we wouldn't have enough clearance there with the eighth of an inch here I needed. So, okay, that's just the things you run into when you're messing with this stuff, when you're fabricating. So that's where we're at. I'd consider that a limited success. I know a lot of you guys are gonna comment saying you should have done this and you should have done that and I would have done this and you could have done this and that, but by the time you tell me that, these videos are about, let's say, 4 to 5 weeks behind. Today is November 30th. You're probably not going to see this video till Christmas time or after Christmas, so it actually wouldn't help. But I appreciate the comments anyway. Give me an idea what to do next time. But that's where we're at. Like I say, I'm happy this came out the way I wanted it to. And that snaps right in there. Look at that. That's how tight it is. It's a tight fit. So, alright. I'm going to call this a video. Enough of this.